Good evening, councillors, executives, those in the gallery, those in our virtual gallery. Welcome to the September ordinary meeting of council. I ask you please to be outstanding for the acknowledgement of the country and the council present. I would like to acknowledge that we are meeting on the country of the Dja We acknowledge their living culture and their unique role in the life of their region. I pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. Almighty God, we ask you to be present in this council, direct and guide our deliberations. We ask you to grant us wisdom and sensitivity as we deal with the business of our shire. May each decision that we make advance the well-being of all our residents. This we pray. Amen. Thank you, councillors, and again, welcome. Before we commence the meeting, can I acknowledge two sad occasions that have occurred since we last met as an ordinary council meeting. First of all, the passing of Her Majesty the Queen. It's been really good to acknowledge the amount of comments from our community about the lighting up of the council building in purple. We have today, as acknowledgement, because this is our first council meeting since Her Majesty's passing, we have a floral tribute and a portrait of her wearing her insignia as Queen of the Order of Australia, Sovereign's Badge of the Order of Australia. So we acknowledge her passing, and we have a new monarch, King of Australia, King Charles, the King of Australia. Also, sadly, since we last met, passing of one of our Citizens of the Year, recent Citizens of the Year, 2018, Diane Mullins, an untiring and unceasing community contributor with her husband Dan. Our thoughts are with Dan and the family. Apologies, councillors. We have apologies from both Councillor de Villiers, who has a happy occasion. That is, her daughter is graduating with a Doctor of Philosophy, PhD, from Monash University. So she and Danny are down at Monash with her daughter's graduation. So we wish her daughter well. A very happy occasion for Councillor de Villiers. Also, apologies from Councillor Murphy. Have no other leave of absence. Disclosures of conflict of interest, councillors. Any conflicts of interest? If not, the confirmation of the minutes of the previous council meeting held in last August. Any concerns with that? If not, we'll move to confirm those minutes. And also now we have some minutes of the advisory committee and delegated committees. We've got minutes for one of our community action committee, Talbot Town Hall. Those are duly noted. Okay, we will note those. And we look forward to, I think we've agreed that we will include those as they come through. We have a lot of hard-working committees, and it's good to note those minutes as they come through. We have no petitions, so let's go straight to item 8, officers' reports. Item 8.1, the financial statements and performance statements for 2022. Councillor seeking a motion. Councillor Lovett.
Mr Mayor, I would like to move that Council 1 gives its approval in principle to the annual financial report and performance statement for the 2021-2022 financial year, and 2, nominates and authorises councillors Meadows, Taylor and councillor Lovett to certify the financial and performance statements in their final form on behalf of and with the full authority of the council.
Thank you, councillor. The second motion, councillor Sproul, thank you for that. Councillor Lovett, over to you.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The annual financial and performance statements are possibly the most important documents that we produce for council at the end of the year. The reason being that they're actually a chronicle of council's performance for the previous 12 months. And as such, they have to be submitted to the Attorney General for his viewing. It's also a requirement that council's Audit and Risk Committee have to give their in-principle support to the statements. And I can confirm as a member of that committee that they gave such confirmation at their meeting on the 12th of September 2022. This resolution actually is that councillors agree in principle with the statements that are being submitted to the Attorney General. So we have to be sure that they are a true and correct record. I should also note from the reports that the closing cash balance as at the 30th of June 2022 was $20.5 million, a very healthy position. And this balance includes cash at bank and terms deposits. And I have to point out that that is a very similar position to what was the 2020-2021 report, which showed a closing balance of $21.1 million. So overall, a healthy position for council to be in.
Thank you very much, councillor Lovett. Councillor Sproul. Other councillors? Not, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Carried. Item 8.2, the financial report for August 2022. Councillor seeking motion. Thank you, councillor.
Mr Mayor, I would like to move that council receives and notes the attached financial report for the period to 31 August 2022.
Thank you, councillor. The second. Thank you, councillor Lavella. Councillor.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The operating result for the period ending 31 August 2022 shows a surplus of $8.6 million. However, it should be pointed out that total income for the year to date is greater than budget due to the timing of and operating grants being received that have greatly influenced this position. During the month, I would also point out that rate notices have been issued for the financial year, and at the end of August, outstanding balance of rate debtors shows a sum of $17.2 million. Council's financial position at the end of August 2022 is sound, with cash and cash equivalents totaling $16.3 million, and no major issues of concern in either the operating or capital budgets. I should point out for the community's benefit, however, that although the annual reports have just been received and tabled, and this monthly report, council's financial position is under constant scrutiny. Basically, that is because we want to be aware if there are any emerging trends within our financial figures. These are trends, both negative and positive, so that we can take any timely action that is required. But pleasing to say that our current position is very healthy and sound. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you very much, councillor Lovett. Councillor Lavella.
Nothing further to add.
Thank you, councillor Lavella. Other councillors? Not, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Carried. Item 8.3, welcome to Central Goldfields Project. Councillor seeking a motion. Thank you, councillor Long.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I would like to move the motion that council notes A is update on the Welcome to Central Goldfields project, B, the report on recruitment and retention of staff in the Shire and the issues being faced by local employers in attracting and retaining skilled staff. And C, the Welcome to Central Goldfields Community Reference Group Statement of Intention. Number 2, that council endorses the use of council resources to participate in the project, including the facilitation of filming of the project by Blackfella Films.
Thank you, Councillor Long. A second that. Thank you, Councillor Bell. Councillor Long, over to you.
Thank you. Through the Mayor. I'm happy to move this motion in regards to the Welcome to the Central Goldfields pilot program, which is a 12-month-long project. This project addresses the increasingly complex issues with attracting and retaining staff in our Shire, particularly for skilled roles by relocating skilled migrants to the Shire and matching them with vacant jobs that are not being filled by local people. And I must stress that point, jobs aren't being taken from local people. Key businesses and community leaders have formed a community reference group, and they have developed a statement of intention which outlines the partnership approach to delivery of the project and identifies the purpose of the group. The project will be delivered across 3 phases, with phase 1 project planning already completed during July and August of this year. I'd like to mention that power of work has gone into making this project become a reality, and I would like to commend council officers and staff, as well as the community reference group, for their commitment and dedication to address staff shortages and promote a younger, inclusive and more culturally diverse community in future years. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Long. Councillor Bella.
Number 1 section of the recommendation in relation to about council noting, and that was ABC, I totally accept. I have been hesitant, however, endorsing number 2 due to the fact project discussions started some time ago, and I believe this should have been presented to council much sooner than today for ratification. But all that said, I have read the report, including the risk management to council. The mere fact that this is a 12-month pilot in response to staff skills and shortages, as outlined by Councillor Long, and affecting businesses big and small in our Shire. In fact, this is nationally. We need to start somewhere, and this certainly offers the opportunity for our Shire to flourish, which is stated in our council plan. The Blackfella Film Project is headed locally by an extremely high level and extremely credentialed leaders of our community, being the community reference group, and supported by a council internal working group, highly experienced in what is required in this area. Therefore, my confidence of us giving it our best shot has soared considerably. Encouraging our Shire to attract culturally diverse community members in turn entices a rich and positive dynamic to our community, which again fosters a unique quality to our Shire. This is also in response to the community vision of what locals want, and that is to be as inclusive place to live. Thank you.
Thank you, councillors. Other councillors? I would like to add a few points. First of all, to thank Councillor Long and Councillor Bella for, I think, a very, very succinct summary of the benefits of this. And Councillor Bella absolutely understand the point about the timing of this, which is not, we've had to swing by the end of the time, so you're right to point that out. But I think overall, there are real benefits, and you've both touched on them. First of all, this is about addressing real issues that our businesses, big and small, as you said, Councillor Bella, are facing. We know from the survey, over 2/3 find it difficult or very difficult to staff positions. And as you said, Councillor Long, these are not, we're not talking about jobs they can fill, these are the jobs they can't fill. Often our community suffers because services can't be provided or work can't be undertaken that would employ other people because of that. Secondly, it is about, as you know, Councillor Long, it is about the diversity in our community, and that is something that's in our community vision. Thirdly, it really is about, and Councillor Valley, you were talking about this, the work of the community reference group. It's about all the players in our community getting together and working together about this. Yesterday, council have sort of facilitated or connected the bits together, and council officers are working very hard to support it. But it is a whole of community project, and it's owned by all the key organisations, and that makes it very, very good, and I think contributes to its success. The fourth point is really, it's just wonderful to see how our community have jumped in and volunteered and say, we want these people that come into our community to be incredibly welcome, to feel how caring, how belonging they will be in our community, and reach out to them and make them feel they have a wonderful experience while they're with us. And we hope they'll stay with us a long time. And if they don't, that others then will be encouraged to come. And the final point then is really about advocacy, that our partnership with Blackfellow Films, I hope, will take us in directions that we can't even see at this stage, but it will raise on a national level the opportunity for advocacy to focus on us and to take forward that work that is consistent with our community vision in council plan. So I think it is a winner on many fronts, even if it has had a few moments that have been challenging, but I suppose all big initiatives usually have those challenges. I'll put the motion, all those in favour, those against, the motion is carried. Governance rules, item 8.4, governance rules dealing with virtual meetings, amendment for adoption. Councillor seeking a motion. Thank you, Councillor Vella.
Recommendation, the council receive, acknowledge and thank the community and the Audit and Risk Committee for providing their feedback in the proposed changes and adopts the draft amended governance rules as presented.
Thank you, Councillor Vella. A seconder. Thank you, Councillor Lovett. Councillor Vella.
This is basically a procedural motion. However, I'd like to say there was feedback received from the Victorian Pride Lobby and Ratepayers Victoria seeking to allow for public question time at the council meetings. It is proposed to consider this request when the broader review is undertaken of the governance rules, which is coming up very shortly. So that's all I have to say, because there's many models we could adopt for those different rules that we will be considering. So that's about it for me for this one. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Lovett.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The only thing I can add is that I can confirm that Council's Audit and Risk Committee have looked at this document and unanimously approved its adoption.
Thank you, Councillor Lovett, for that. Other councillors? Not, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Carried. Item 8.5, a planning application number 127/21 at 19 Williams Street, Majorca. Councillor seeking a motion. Councillor Sproul.
I'd like to move that council, having caused notice of planning permit application number 127/21 to be given under section 52 of the Planning and Environment Act 1987, the Central Goldfields Planning Scheme, and having considered all the matters generally required, resolves to grant a planning permit, issue a notice of decision to grant a planning permit in respect of planning permit application number 127/21. For the land known and described as 19 William Street, Majorca, for the use and development of the land for a single dwelling and shed with associated works in accordance with the endorsed plan and subject to the following conditions outlined in the report.
Thank you, Councillor Sproul. A seconder? That's Councillor Long. Councillor Sproul, talking to the motion.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Under the new planning decision guidelines that were passed last month, this application most likely would not have come to council, but due to the timing and implementation of that policy change, this has come to council for a decision. There's one advantage of the updated planning decision guidelines is they will use a voluntary mediation process which encourages open communication between parties. Ultimately, I feel in this case the applicant and the objectors share most of the same concerns, and I hope they can resolve their concerns with dialogue moving forward. The application had two objectives, and I want to thank them for their presentation, for presenting their concerns to council However, I believe that the planning department has responded to their concerns appropriately and note that all the relative authorities have supported this application with conditions. There are lots of properties around the Shire that are disused due to various reasons. This is a parcel of land around 2.3 hectares for zoned farming, which triggers the need for a planning permit for a dwelling, as under the guidelines, anything under 40 hectares requires a permit. This is to help preserve quality farmland for that specific use. Given the size of the land and its surroundings, that use would be most unlikely. We want to take advantage of population growth and fulfill people's desires to move away from the rat race, yet we know properties are scarce. I feel this is a good use of the property and the applicants will be respectful of the environment around them when developing the land. I'm happy to support the officer's recommendations.
Thank you, Councillor Sprout. Councillor Long.
Thank you. Through the mayor. Planning issues are never easy when they come before council, and this one was no different. It's always hard when there's applicants and then objectors. However, I am happy to second the motion to the development of land for a single dwelling at William Street, Majorca. As a primary producer, I gave this motion a lot of consideration because agricultural land is a finite resource and productive farmland must be protected. Therefore, caution must be displayed when alternate uses are employed on farming land. However, after reading the officer's report, I believe that in this instance, the land is well suited to a rural residential dwelling. This new dwelling would not be out of place in the landscape because the surrounding area has already been developed in a rural residential manner. In fact, most lots surrounding the property consist of small fragmented land holdings with not much agricultural activity, and most already contain dwellings. Environmental issues have been addressed through referral responses with conditional consent to a permit being issued. No native vegetation will be removed, nor would the development adversely affect the use of the land for agriculture due to the fragmented and already residentially developed nature of the land surrounding the subject site. So in light of all this, I see no reason for it not to proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Long. Other councillors? No, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Carried. Item 8.6, Neighbourhood Safer Places Plan 2022-2023. Councillor seeking motion.
Also moved.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Vella. And a second that. Oh, sorry, no motion.
The motion. Someone give me the motion. Thought I had it. I'll read it. All right. Recommendation that council adopt the updated NSP plan 2022-23 with Neighbourhood Safer Places NSP, which is the acronym, within the townships of Maryborough, Princess Park and Pasco Reserve, Talbot, Pioneer Reserve, Denali, Gordon Garden Reserve and Carisbrook Market Reserve.
Thank you, Councillor Vella. A seconder. Thank you, Councillor Sprout. Councillor Vella.
Well, this is a procedural motion. As you probably noticed, I didn't do much homework on it. So it is procedural. So I'll hand it over to the next person to speak to it.
That's called passing the buck. Councillor Sprout.
Through the mayor, so these are a direct consequence of the Black Saturday fires and the recommendations from the Bushfire Royal Commission. The neighbourhood safety places that are used as a last resort in case of a bushfire. They are not community refuges or emergency relief centres. The neighbourhood safer places are selected and inspected before the bushfire season. These places are the same as they were last year and have been deemed suitable for use.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor.
The words you were really choosing to talking teamwork.
Exactly.
Any other councillors? Well, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Carried. Item 8.7, the Maryborough Major Reserves Master Plan. Councillor seeking a motion.
Also moved.
Councillor Vella, and you're all geared up for action, I can see that.
Yes, recommendation is that council adopts the Maryborough Major Reserves Master Plans and indicative costs and estimates of and proposed staging plan.
Thank you very much. A seconder. Councillor Lovett, thank you for that. Councillor Bella, Steve.
Now, the Recreation Open Space Strategy 2020-2029, commonly known as ROS, was adopted by Council in 2011 to 2020. That was adopted in September 2020. Princess Park was identified as a priority in ROS, and it also states park complex and premier sport recreation open space. The OTM Planning Group, or OPG, was contracted to lead this project. These master plans or future direction plans can be used in the following ways: to establish clear directions with community support for the further development and management of high quality open space, sport and recreational spaces, facility support services, active and passive opportunities. Also to identify and propose solutions to a range of facility related concerns that are potential risks issues for council and user groups, to assist council to respond to inquiries from community and stakeholders, and also to support grant applications. The consultation was robust and exhaustive, and that was taken place in April 2022. A face-to-face feedback forum for representatives of the user groups was held. Additionally, 19 stakeholders have been approached by the consultants and invited to contribute. A cross-departmental project control group chaired by Councillor Murphy has met at key stages during the development of the master plans. The public exhibition opportunities were promoted through council's media channels, user groups and other key stakeholders were directly notified. The draft plans were made available for 4 weeks, period commencing the 2nd of May. So you can see it's been an extremely robust exercise with community consultation. The consultants have provided notional costings around 25 million plus additional costs to be rolled out over a 10-year period. And of course, that would be depending on grants and budget funding, etc. That's all I have to say, but I am sure Councillor Lovett has more to add to that. Thank you.
With that, thank you, Councillor Bella. Over to you, Councillor Lovett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This has been a very interesting read for all of us who have read the report, but it's a very challenging read. I have to say that the Major Reserves Master Plan in many ways is a wish list. It's a wish list of what we had, our sporting facilities right here, right now, but that's not the reality. Just a week ago, as an example, just a week ago, I attended the Maryborough Castlemaine District Football League, held at Princess Park, which is our premier sporting facility within Central Goldfields Shire, and the grandstand, our magnificent Maryborough grandstand. And sitting on the other side of the oval, looking at it, it is a magnificent facility. But the reality is it's 117 years old. It was opened in 1905. And in many ways, not many things have changed. And in fact, when I went into the change rooms after the grand final, the thing that struck me, all the facilities for all of the participants are at best what I call 1940 standard. Hot water is not a given. The facilities are very old. And in fact, there are no facilities for females. In Aussie rules football, we have a growing all over Australia. We have more and more women who want to play Aussie rules. We have a very vibrant team out at Carisbrook. But at our premier sporting ground, we can't facilitate females. We haven't got the facilities. And the reality is, sport plays a very important role in Central Goldfields Shire. And if we want to continue that trend, we have to do something about it. I have to say, under the leadership of Councillor Murphy, an enormous amount of work, hundreds of hours of work have gone into this report. All the sporting bodies have been involved. Many people involved with sporting clubs, both past and present, have been involved. So this report is not our report. It's what all the sporting bodies tell us they need. I see this master plan as being very aspirational, that will take many years to achieve. This council won't see it achieved. I believe a number of our councils who follow us will still be working to see this report achieved, but it must be. And a big part of that will be consultation with the state government and trying to get grants, because it is beyond our ability to do it. I think it's absolutely fabulous. And we must do everything in our power to see that we achieve the ultimate, see this report come to fruition. Very exciting. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Other councillors? Just add to those comments, and Councillor, I was absolutely right. It is realistically a wish list. I mean, finding $25 million over the next few years will be very, very tough. We know that we're going to enter a tough public sector and economic environment. It's a wish list, but I actually see it as even more than that. I see this as a vision. This is a vision of what can be, and it ought to inspire our community groups, our recreation groups, our community generally to say, look, these things are possible. How do we want to engage, enroll? How do we want to work together to put together good proposals that will make sense in a business plan? Because we realise, we all know now, that we don't get far without business plans to take some of these things forward. Obviously, the master plan itself is a key stage of that. But I see it as a great opportunity, the vision and the opportunity for groups, which I hope will take this away and say, to start to think about it, start to talk to others about it. How can we perhaps share space together, work together, achieve more out of space, put together a stronger case for investment? Because the stronger the case for investment, the more creative the proposal is, the more that it can deliver, the better our chances are as a council of working to get funding, which, as you said, Councillor Valley, we will be dependent, and it will be a tight financial environment. So I see it as a wonderful opportunity, as both councillors, both of you have said. It's a wonderful opportunity. It's not a given by any means. It's anything but that. But it is the first step of what might be. And I hope that the community see that, get on board and work with us to create this and make this a reality over the coming years, because of the vision that this master plan has created. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you, councillors. Now, we have no notice of motion. Urgent business, councillors. We have no confidential business, therefore, and we haven't listed any other business, any other business. With that, then at 6:33, I'll declare the meeting closed. Thank you, councillors. Thank you for those in the gallery. Thank you for those joining us. Several hundred, I might add, over recent months. I've been adding how many people join us on Facebook, and it really is quite a large number. And even those who don't want to sit through that or can't sit through the whole meeting, catch me on the next day for my 4-minute sum of the mayor on Facebook. So it's great to see so many people following us. Thank you all for that. We do appreciate it. Thanks so much, everyone.